And it's very quickly clay under here. So it's not like it's seeping away quickly. There's this little barrier.
Rock hard in the summer, so that's the other side of it.
It's the weird thing about this area. It's a very, very much a wetland around here, but it can also get very dry.
You know, so it's one extreme or the other, isn't it?
We do have some quite severe droughts now during summer. Watering young plants here, we do run out of water. Quite a challenge now to grow food in a way that's sustainable.
Water management rather than flood defence, I think, is the important thing.
So in 1995, the flood attenuation lakes were constructed, which are referred to as the Green Heart in some project papers about the area. So the Eastbourne Park lakes. We're also looking at the much wider area, so the catchment itself. So the Blue Heart project is seeking to bring the Green Heart more into the 21st century of being more resilient. So how we're going to be doing that is through the use of smart technology.
So the engineers are putting out sensors across the system, so then in real time we can see what's happening with the water, and then we can adjust the water levels, if there is a storm event coming, and that's why we really want to engage quite closely with you guys, because obviously the water levels is really important with your activities and what you do here.
Yes.
We'll have better knowledge and understanding of the area, how water moves around the catchment. But we're also looking at low water levels, so perhaps if there's an area which is lower than we would anticipate for that time of year, then it would be a concern for us as well.
In a way, there's less flooding.
I'm Andy Payne and I'm involved with the local angling club. The water level is important in a variety of ways. It needs to be sufficient to maintain all of the ecosystem. So for instance, if water is run off steadily and slowly, then fish can adapt, animals can adapt. If it's run off suddenly and abruptly, it can lead to fish death, which is the last thing we want as anglers. If water levels are kept too low, then plant and animal life will suffer.
My name is Evan Jones. I'm a trained ecologist.
The big fear of drainage authorities is that they will fail to prevent flooding and you will get roads and property being damaged. Some farmers don't like their land flooding in the winter. The land always did flood in the winter in the past, but now with very effective drainage, some farmers can run sheep on fields which they didn't used to be able to run on. So there is this big fear of flooding, but flooding for wildlife is very beneficial. Very often the water's pumped out simply due to the effectiveness of the drainage teams and doing their work. They have small teams, large areas, so they do the work very well and they're working to their particular lights, so they're doing a very good job. However, what they don't take into account is that frogs and toads breed in February, and if water levels are low, then their breeding success is very low. The ditches are full of fish and eels, and if they pump the ditches out, all the fish are gone. So if all the frogs and toads go, all the fish are gone, you don't get so many herons and birds that eat them. And so they're actually hitting the food web right at the bottom. This is a biodiverse and important place.
As climate change gets worse, the challenges will become bigger and bigger.
More storm events are expected to occur and of higher magnitude, so potentially more impact to people's lives and businesses.
I've got 3 children and they're growing up in a world that is going to get more and more unstable. Once all these problems start compounding, it's going to be completely unmanageable. But the cost of living is being driven up and people are surviving. So to be able to tackle all these additional problems,
I think it's one of the great challenges of our time. That it's just how do you step up collaboration and coordination between all the myriad of different groups and authorities that we've got, so that you get some really joined up thinking about how you deal with the big strategic challenges coming up.
It's windy old weather, rainy old weather, way hey, blow the man down.